This is Dan Dicks here reporting for Press for Truth. A British man has just been convicted of criminal charges for praying silently near an abortion clinic. All I did was pray to God, he says, as the court just found this Christian man guilty. It essentially amounts to a thought crime, and this Army veteran was just convicted for silent prayer, and it was interpreted as the disapproval of abortion. I guess you're not allowed to do that anymore. Army veteran convicted over silent prayer for his aborted son outside of a clinic. That's right, he was praying for his own deceased son. Adam Smith Connor prayed within a buffer zone, which protects users and staff of a Dorset abortion facility from protesters. There's a video of these officers asking him, "What is the nature of your prayer?" When he just says, I'm just silently praying for my deceased son. And the cops say, well, I'm sorry to hear that, but you're not allowed to do that. You can't do that here. And he was promptly arrested. Criminal charges for praying silently, and just because he was close to this clinic. Now, as if that wasn't bad enough, guys, praying at home may soon be a criminal offense in Scotland. Under a very, very similar law, Scotland has enacted new abortion legislation that could criminalize praying at home within these designated zones. The Abortion Services Act of Scotland 2024 could result in prosecution for activities conducted in their own homes if these actions cause harassment or alarm or distress to staff and patients at abortion clinics. You don't want to cause distress to the staff. Meanwhile, as I just reported on yesterday, in Massachusetts, in the United States, you've got the Satanic Temple opening up a religious abortion clinic so they could promote destruction ritual terminations. So yeah, that's totally okay. Meanwhile, Adam here was convicted because, as he said, all I did was pray to God with prayerful thoughts in his mind. It's absolutely remarkable that we're already seeing the first thought crime to happen in the UK, and this soon will be coming to Canada, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be talking about all of that and much more in this video, but really quickly before we do, I'd ask that you check me out here at subscribestar.com/pressfortruth if you appreciate my efforts to bring you this info. Here you can sign up for $5 a month, $10 a month, $20 a month. Whatever is within your means is very greatly appreciated, guys. I can't continue to do this work without your support. So if you do appreciate my efforts to bring you this info, please check out that top link in the description below to where you can find me at subscribestar.com/pressfortruth. All right, guys, I brought this to your attention a couple of months ago with this video. UK government is set to ban silent prayer while tech gadgets are capturing our brainwaves. And I was pointing out how they're about to, ban people from silently praying inside their own heads outside of an abortion clinic. Meanwhile, there were these new, privacy battles underway as tech gadgets are setting up patents to capture our brain waves so they can go ahead and essentially read our minds. But people in Britain and soon Canada and elsewhere are not even allowed to pray within their own minds without being charged with a criminal offense. So let's take a look at this. In Britain, it can be a crime now to think the wrong thoughts in the wrong place. It sounds absurd, not to mention Orwellian, but a handful of people have been arrested or charged in the country simply for praying silently near abortion clinics. This month, a British man was convicted of criminal charges for praying silently near an abortion clinic. The man, Adam Smith Connor, did not attempt to harass or intimidate or interact in any way with anyone entering the clinic. Instead, he wordlessly prayed within his own head and he bowed silently. He wasn't even on clinic property. In fact, he was outside of the sight line of the clinic itself, according to the Alliance Defending Freedom, a religious freedom group. As a result, Smith Connor was questioned by police and was later charged with violating a public spaces protection order. This is a broad censorship order that was enabled by the 2014 Anti-Social Behavior Crime and Policing Act. So let's take a quick look at this footage of these police officers asking him, what's the nature of your prayer? While they tell him he can't sit there and pray silently in his head.
Can I ask what is the nature of your prayer today?
What's the nature of your prayer?
What is the nature of it? I'm praying for my son.
Praying for my son.
I don't want to pray, but I don't want to sort of ask you to elaborate on that. But
Sure.
At the same time, it would be remiss of me to sort of not mention the, like I say, the area of the activity.
Saying in this area, you can't engage in that activity.
Within
this is a clause within the Public Space Protection Order, she says. It reminds me so much of the Public Works Protection Act that the Toronto police enacted during the G20. If you've seen my film Into the Fire, you'll remember that within 5 meters of the fence surrounding the, red zone, if you got within that, under this new Public Works Protection Act, they could arrest anybody for essentially any reason. And it was like a huge violation of Canadian charter rights. I documented the whole thing in my film if you haven't seen it, Into the Fire. But this whole thing reminds me of that. They have this new law where they can pop up these new little zones, like this one, where the decision to pop up one of these zones in this area was recommended and then approved. And this is the massive buffer zone that this man is not allowed to pray in. And you'll see there's a lot of homes in here, which is why what's happening in Scotland is something we're going to have to pay close attention to as well. But let's watch a little bit of the rest of this footage. This is crazy.
around prayer.
Yes.
And around
There are rules around prayer.
disapproval around the activities.
Can't do that here.
Right.
As I say, whilst I don't want to probe as to the reasons you are praying for your son, it obviously is perhaps pertinent to the area that you are in, and like I said, the Dicks P.O and legislation around that.
Well, I'm praying for my son who's deceased.
He literally just says, I'm praying for my deceased son here. His son was aborted about 20 years ago. Not even at this clinic. He's just near a clinic, silently praying with his head bowed for his aborted son of 20 years ago. And the cop says, I'm really sorry about that, but that's against the law.
I'm very sorry to hear.
I'm very sorry to hear that.
Okay.
Thank you, he says.
So
So,
again,
sorry for your loss.
sorry for your loss,
But
ultimately,
I have to go along with the guidelines.
Right.
Public Space Protection Act, or whatever it's called, to say that we are in.
Therefore, that you are in breach of.
You are in breach of this, she says.
About prayer and also acts of disapproval around the activities of the clinic.
You cannot be doing this around these kind of activities. The activity of silently praying. He was literally just bowing his head with his hands clasped, and that's what the judge referred to as showing disapproval for abortion. It's absolutely crazy. Under this law, local authorities can obtain special status for some public places, allowing them to ban a huge range of conduct in the name of limiting anti-social behavior. British towns have obtained some of these to ban homeless people from sleeping outside or to ban swearing. Several cities have used this law to place buffer zones around these local abortion clinics, like what we see here. This particular clinic got the approval for that. So the PSO order in Smith Connor's case not only banned intimidating or harassing those working at or seeking services from the clinic, but it also barred individuals from engaging in prayer or sprinkling holy water on the ground or crossing themselves. Doing that Catholic thing is against the law now in the UK if you do it in the wrong area. Smith Connor violated this order in November of 2022. He was convicted and sentenced earlier this month to a conditional discharge similar to probation, and he's ordered to pay approximately $11,000 US in prosecution fees. This is absolutely ludicrous. This is why I'm going to include a link to this fundraiser at the end of this video, and hopefully we can help this guy cover these these fees. The court's reasoning betrayed the absurdly censorious nature of the local law. In its decision, the court reasoned that his prayer amounted to disapproval of abortion because at one point his head was seen slightly bowed and his hands were clasped. He was capable of being seen. Oh no. He was engaging in prayer, and that would have been perceptible to an observer. Can't have that, said the judge. The Telegraph reported. He said he would not be looking at anyone, so he could not breach their privacy, but I find his presence and the circumstances could cause detrimental impact. Again, the thoughts inside his brain, this judge suggests, could have a detrimental impact on the stress levels of these people. I mean, it's absolutely insane. He's far from the first Briton to face these legal consequences for silent prayer near abortion clinic. In 2022, a woman in Birmingham, England, was arrested for silently praying. I reported on that back then as well. That same year, a priest was criminally charged for holding a sign reading, praying for freedom of speech near an abortion clinic, even though his sign had nothing to do with abortion rights. So, absolutely insane. I'm pretty sure this is the first case of what many are calling literally a thought crime in UK. Because he was arrested just for simply, having thoughts in his brain. Unbelievable. But this is something I've been warning about that is coming to Canada. If you missed this one, guys, I put it out in February of this year. The Online Harms Act gives power to arrest people who may commit a hate crime in the future. The Canadian government has been working on incremental moves to slowly but surely make pre-crime arrests for those who engage in hate speech. And Bill 63 is their latest iteration, and if signed into law, it will make that happen. I also put out this one, guys, even more relatable to today's video. The UK's Online Safety Act is a blueprint for Bill C-63, where censorship is about to go absolutely parabolic. Guys, if you have not seen that video either, I strongly encourage you to recommend you to check this one out. Again, I'll put links to all of this in the description below, because this explains how everything we're seeing in the UK right now indeed is a blueprint for us in Canada, and it soon will be coming if they manage to get Bill C-63 to achieve royal assent. So I just wanted to bring all of that to your attention, guys. Once again, if you appreciate my efforts to do so, don't forget to check me out here, subscribestar.com/pressfortruth. Right now, check out the link in the description on whatever video platform you're watching this on. Click that link, head over to Subscribestar, and sign up for $5 or $10, whatever you can afford is greatly appreciated, guys. Thank you so much to everybody who does contribute in that way. And that's all for today, guys. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to click the thumbs up button. Please share this video as well with your friends and family who you think need to see it the most. And stay tuned, guys. We're going to have more video reports coming soon, God willing. This is Dan Dicks reporting for Press for Truth. We all want truth. The truth will set you free.